actually said that we could necessarily never do what they actually did. We could never accomplish what they accomplished. I had a sit down with a very distinguished set of individuals. These people are majorly known in the media industry. Not the media faces that you kind of see each and every single day, but more of the corporate side of media, the ones who necessarily officiate the news that come to our tables, our screens. And while we were having lunch, we did lunch, finished, then they started exchanging pleasantries, and slowly the conversation swiftly changed into like their upbringing. Now, the set of like individuals that were there, they were born of the 1980s era, right about there. So these people were truly aged. I was at the table just taking this all in, and they actually got into detail, like how back in the day necessarily the economy wasn't as inflated as it is right now, and the general cost of living was actually low. Back then, parents actually went all out in terms of just providing for their families, because most of the families that I heard wasn't your middle class, what is known as middle class right now. It was actually even below that in perspective. And there was this one story that I heard where, as an elder sibling, as the eldest, you had to take care of your younger siblings, and also because back in the day, families weren't as nuclear as you think. It was actually extended. So if you're well off, you'd find like you're not only living with your brother, your sister, or things like that. You actually even have your cousin, your younger cousin. I don't know, just the other relative from that other side. You understand? And so you had to take care of each and every one of them, being the eldest, because your parent is out on contractual business. So you had to make sure that the younger siblings have eaten. You had to make sure that they're safe, they go to school, they make sure that they go to school. You gotta make sure that everything is in order until your parents come back home. It got hectic to the point where you'd actually even forget about your own safety or your own education, in a sense, because you're out here looking out for each and every single person, since it's upon you as the eldest. Since mom and dad were actually busy looking for what they could actually find, times when you didn't even have the best wear to kind of rock on a daily basis, and you could go to the extremes of even finding your own parents not having the best daily wear, so you had to share with them, and you had to bear this kind of communal type of sharing of resources, to a sense. But through it all, actually no one slept hungry. And I'm not saying this to like devalue those who actually did sleep hungry, but I'm trying to make this point where everyone under this roof, under this household, was pulling towards one certain and defined cause. Everyone was, like bringing towards this one thing, in a way. So you'd find that that's what actually made it work, because everyone was, trying to do what they can for the fan. And I could never encapsulate the whole experience from that era, from that kind of, generation, in a way that would actually do those stories and those experiences justice. I could never, because I know to an extent, even in that generation of that time, I wasn't even like conceptualized in anyone's mind. You understand? Then transitioning into like this generation that I'm in, it got me thinking. When one of them actually said that we could necessarily never do what they actually did, we could never accomplish what they accomplished, we could never go through what they went through and actually come out, you know, as, I don't know, successful, or let's say we could have never made it even if we were born during that time, which rubbed me the wrong way. In my mind, I'm actually like, why? Is it the economy? Is it technological advancement? Is it growth in terms of culture? And I'm not making excuses for my generation, but you really have to put these things in perspective. That's what I'm trying to say. You really have to look at all of these areas and determine for yourself. Because I'm not gonna be the scapegoat when it comes to the term "you have failed humanity" narrative. The cost of living has drastically changed over the years. You find that the rules that I'm actually born into are not the same that they were born into back in the day. And sadly, this is highly influenced by the choice of governance of latter generations, sending a ripple effect up until this day and age that we are currently in. The cost of living and basic needs have become more and more steep, enforcing the need to get a better job, work harder in order to make more so that I can even buy the basics. You can take a look at the inception of technology and the way it has transcended intricately into our daily lives. It's crazy. I mean, the classification of needs need reevaluation, because as we speak, communication is facilitated through technology, and without communicating with each other, then the whole country isn't moving forward, hands down. We aren't at that part, or we have moved away completely from that age where communities had their own customs. Like, these customs were known to identify this community. This community was identified through these customs, and they were set apart from the customs of the other community. Through breaking of borders and connecting of different communities, we have essentially created a whole new social village where we share and we trade new customs each and every single day. We don't necessarily exclude, but we accept you as you. You can come onto the platform and share you. It doesn't matter. It's free. It's for everyone. It's for us all, necessarily. Now we're at a point where the logical explanation isn't gonna be because I said so. It is not gonna be because it has been that way. We are at a point where we know we could raise questions and truly ask genuine concerns that we may have, and we deserve answers. We deserve logical explanations. We don't deserve just because it's been that way, I said so. Like, that doesn't work for us like anymore. I guess where we are in search of enlightenment, I believe that's where most would see rebellion, which is truly not the case. I honestly hate the back and forth between generations. Distinctively from each and every one of us, there is something emanating that we could learn and we could pick up from one another. At the end of the day, we should stop with all this like, which generation is better. I'm like, it's not even a competition. If we stop all that, then we'll be well in order. If I'm being honest, it truly doesn't matter to me. If I was placed in that situation, would I make it out? Because I am too focused on how we are going to make it out of our own situation. That's including previous generations from different situations. Remember to ponder on this. This is my own personal view on the matter that I've discussed, and no viewer should ever take it up as their own standard, but it would be insightful as you navigate through this life.